What is up, vloggy vlog? Welcome back to my channel. So last time we did a Q&A, like a sit down Q&A. We were in Texas, we were pregnant, so a lot has changed since then. So I thought it would be a nice time to catch up with you guys, and I told you to ask me some questions on Instagram and we're going to answer as many as possible of them. Some of them will be postpartum and baby related. Of course, that's like majority of my life for the past 3 weeks or so, but also a little bit of life updates and stuff like that. So let's get into it. I just wanted to say that if you hear any grunting or weird sounds, I have the little baby sleeping right here and Randy's on a duty the second he wakes up to grab him and take care of him, because right now our schedule is working around the baby. We no longer make plans on our own, because there is a lot of things that need to happen before we can actually leave the house. So our entire day and night revolve around this little baby. So he's quite a boss for being so little. So some of the most asked questions were about our delivery and the C-section experience. And of course there is a whole vlog of our birth story, literally day by day, posted on this YouTube, but I don't think I talked enough about like the C-section recovery, so I'm just going to quickly walk you guys through it. I think it is very unfair for some mothers and women to say that C-section is an easy way out. That's like a very common comment and thought I got from a lot of women, which is very surprising. Of course, C-section is a major abdominal surgery. They literally cut all the layers of your skin to get the baby out. There is nothing easy about it, so let's put that out there, because that was quite an annoying comment to get from women and mothers that should be supportive to other women. When it comes to recovery, the first couple of days were absolutely awful. I have to admit, and I have to be really honest with you guys, sitting up, walking, laying down, literally any bit of a movement was absolutely excruciating. It felt like burning and cutting me in half all at once. It was absolutely awful. On top of that, I refused to take strong painkillers because I was breastfeeding and pumping milk and I didn't want to pass it to my baby. So I was basically going on like couple Tylenols a day or just something very mild without getting into all the crazy painkillers that they try to give you here in America. So I'm going to say the first couple of days were awful. The first time going to the bathroom is quite an experience. So be ready. If you have to go poo after the C-section, it's going to take you multiple days because of the painkillers. You're backed up and it's going to take a couple of days. But once you're going on a toilet, it's one of the worst things. And I have no words to describe it, but you're going to be sitting there for a couple of hours trying to figure out how to poo as an adult. And that's, you know, there's always first for all the things, and that is definitely quite an experience. But after those first initial couple of days, I have to say that my recovery has been pretty good. And I think it's been better than most people, because I get a lot of feedback, of course, from the mom community on social media, and like just going to the hospital and going for my checkups and people seeing me and being like, oh my god, like how are you walking straight a week or 2 weeks after the C-section? And I have to say that I think being active prior to pregnancy and then staying extremely active during my pregnancy helped with my recovery and making it much easier than most. Right now we are 3 weeks post C-section and I am ready to hit the gym, you guys. Like, I was literally googling, trying to figure out if I can go do Pilates and go work out, because I feel like I feel good enough to do so. Of course I'm not going to, you're not supposed to for 6 weeks, but I go on long walks. I have no longer any pain when it comes to sitting up or like laying down. I'm comfortable laying flat. I threw away my pregnancy pillow. So the recovery has been much better than I imagined. But again, the first couple of days were absolutely awful. So just be prepared if you have one of those. How is my breastfeeding? So if you guys watched our birth story, you guys know that Milo decided to come a little bit earlier. My fluid was low during my 37th appointment, and instead of keeping me pregnant, the doctors have decided that it would be best to go to the hospital from that very appointment and deliver the baby immediately via C-section because of the low fluid and because of the baby being breech. And that of course has an impact of the milk production that your body is producing. So there was definitely a little bit of difficulties at the beginning when it comes to my breastfeeding journey. I was intending on collecting colostrum prior to going to the hospital, and I was going to pump and bring it to the hospital with me just in case the baby's in a NICU. Of course, that didn't happen because we ended up going not within an emergency, but completely unplanned and unintended to the hospital. So there was no pumping prior to going to the hospital, and the first couple of days were definitely challenging. I was basically on the clock every 2 hours, putting baby on the breast after first initial days in the NICU, when I was actually able to hold him, I think on day 3 or so. I was putting baby on the breast, and I was also pumping from basically day 1. The second I came out of the surgery room, they brought me the pump, and they're like, if you want to breastfeed, exactly, you better, you know, start pumping and get your body used to that, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be. So the first initial days, I was basically, especially in the hospital, on the clock every 2 hours, putting baby on the boob and pumping on top of that. And I think that kickstart my milk production, because the second we got home, the baby, of course, in the NICU was also on the formula. That's not something I have decided because I did not have milk, so the baby had to eat, and the only way for baby to eat was the formula. So they were feeding the baby formula until I was able to produce milk, and then we're doing combo feeding formula and the breast milk. And for the first probably 2 days at home, we were still doing formula and breast milk until my breast milk production actually started to be much higher. And right now we're fully on only breast milk. We are doing direct breastfeeding, but also pumping. I found that for us it just works so much better because it gives me a break whenever I have to get ready, or whenever I have to work, or whenever I want to sleep a little bit longer. Randy is able to give the bottle to the baby. I also think it's a nice way for dad and the baby to connect. Of course, we women are the sole source of food for the babies, and the dads cannot do much. So I feel like it's just nice for daddy and the baby to have that moment where daddy is feeding the bottle to the baby and they can have a little bit moment for themselves.
And to know that they're getting enough food.
And to know that they're getting enough food. One thing about the breastfeeding, it is a little bit terrifying because when baby comes out of the hospital, they lose weight and they have to regain that weight within the initial 2 weeks. So they have to be past their birth. I don't know what happens if they don't, but the doctor told us he needs to be like at or past the birth weight. So solely breastfeeding, you of course don't know how much milk the baby is getting. So doing the bottle and the breastfeeding, it's just nice to know that the baby is getting enough, of course. And especially with our baby, after he gets the boob, which has been amazing with latching both to the boob and to the bottle. We haven't had really any issues with him. He's been really great at doing both, but he lets go of the boobie pretty fast. So I never know if he got enough or not, and he's always kind of hungry after. So we're doing both almost every time, except at nights whenever I want to get a longer stretch of sleep. I have to still pump every 3 to 4 hours now. But then I don't have to do the breastfeeding and pumping, which takes like an hour and a half, and you know, cleaning the bottles and all of that. But instead, Randy will do the bottle, I do the pump, and then we go to bed again. So it just cuts the whole process in half. But the whole journey has been pretty good. Not going to lie, my nipples were a little bit sore at the beginning, but it's getting much better. I feel like as the baby is getting better, and also there was so many pumping mistakes that I've made at the beginning that let's not even go there, but right now we're good. The most and least helpful items you bought for the baby, because somebody is due in 2 months and they would love to know. I think I got so many things as a first-time mom, even though I said I will not be getting things, you know, before I got pregnant, but then you get pregnant, you have a baby, and you just want the best for them. So I got so many things, and I think that's a great idea for a separate video to do the items that we've purchased and we think are a waste of money, and the items that we love. So that's going to be coming probably this or next week. How have you been feeling and coping with the change? Has it been hard mentally to adapt? We are in a very unique situation that we, both me and Randy, are working from home, and we're always together 24/7. So before the pregnancy, before, you know, going into this new journey, we've been always the two of us together at home. Randy, as you guys probably know from some of my posts, is a very present dad. He's not the dad just leaves me with the baby and does his own thing. He's changing diapers, he's feeding the baby, he's changing the baby, he's doing all the things that moms also do, except the breastfeeding. So the change has not been as hard as I thought it's going to be. But if not Randy, there was, I think, one day where Randy had to like run errands and was gone for all day, and I was by myself with the baby. And I have to say, if you're a single mom, you deserve the biggest prize in the world that there is, because this shit is hard. If you're a single mom, or if you're somebody that doesn't have help from your significant other or your mom or your sister or your family, I applaud you, because I absolutely could not do it. So with that being said, it is of course a change, especially those initial few weeks are very hard because you're technically not supposed to go out with the baby. The baby's immune system for the first few weeks is very weak, and it is not recommended to take him places that are crowded. We are also in Miami, where it's rainy season, but it's also humid and hot AF. So my only source of going out, which would be going on walks, is kind of very limited, because either it's way too hot and I don't feel comfortable taking the baby in 100 degrees with 100% humidity outside, or it's pouring raining and there's a thunderstorm outside. So that has been pretty depressing. There was 2 or 3 days in the past 3 weeks that I've been crying because I just felt like I'm just on a lockdown at home. And if you've been following me, you know that being at home is not the biggest passion of mine. I would ideally pack up and go somewhere. So just counting down days, we have our first tickets booked. So Milo is going on his first planes. So this is for everybody that told me Milo is not going to travel, or whenever we have a baby we're not going to travel. We have 3 trips until the end of this year already planned. So here is that. I always thought that I'm not a very motherly person. Like, I knew that I wanted to have kids, but I am also kind of selfish. I am an only child, and I always did whatever I pleased and lived my life by my own rules. And I like independence, and I like doing what I want to do without anybody else telling me what to do. So the idea of having a child was always something scary to me, that I'm going to feel limited, and maybe I didn't necessarily like dream about being a mother. Like, I always wanted to be a mom, but it wasn't like a goal of mine, like I have to be a mom. But now that he's here, this is a whole new story. Me and Randy just cannot walk past this baby without smothering him with love and kisses. And I'm gonna be one of those woo-woo moms. It is the best thing in the world, you guys. It is. It truly is. I'm gonna be honest. Like, there is nothing better than that. And I can't wait to take him around the world and see the world through his eyes and watch him grow and do all the little things. Like, now he's yawning and I'm like, oh my god, good job, like that's amazing. Or he will like fart in a funny way and I'm like, oh my god, this is the cutest fart I've ever seen or heard, you know. So it is the greatest thing on planet Earth. So I think this is the answer of how am I doing. I'm doing fantastic. With that being said, the nights are a little bit of a challenge. Me and Randy have quite a system figured out where we kind of switch. So we are able to get enough sleep so we're not complete zombies. So again, having that help throughout the day and throughout the night is a complete game changer and a complete different story than if I was doing it on my own, because we both still get 6 to 8 hours of sleep every single night, even though of course it's broken down because I have to pump, because we have to change the baby, feed the baby. We're still sleeping pretty good, so we're not like fully sleep deprived. Of course it's not like the quality sleep that we've had before, but it's definitely manageable. Will I show Milo's cute face? This is something that I am going back and forth on because I am a new mom. Of course I want whatever is best for the baby. I know that the internet is a funny place. It can be a cruel place, it can be a nice place, it can be a sad place. You know, there's so many individuals out there on the internet with different intentions that until I figure out if I want to show him and make him more of a part. Of course he's a part of my content right now because I'm excited and I'm a new mom and he's my whole world and he's going to be for the rest of my life, but right now this is so exciting that I just wanted to share it with you guys. But my content is not going to only be the motherly things and the parenthood and, you know, all of that. Like right now this is kind of the only option we have because we're not able to travel and we're not able to do much of the things outside of the house that we would normally do. So this is my life right now, and I'm usually sharing with you guys the most authentic things that I do at the moment. So right now my life is being at home with a baby and that's what I'm sharing with you guys. But he's not going to be the main focus of my content for the rest of my life. So with showing his face, I need to kind of sit down with myself and see how I feel about it. Randy doesn't mind at all. He said it's absolutely up to me. He doesn't care either or. For me, I just have to make that decision and kind of decide. So for now, I feel just more comfortable keeping him to myself because of course, once it's out there on the internet, I can't take it back. So I would rather for now share him with you guys in a little bit more discreet way. But I'm not going to say that I am never going to show his face because we'll see how I feel about it in a couple of weeks, months, years, who knows. I see that you guys have noticed a little bit of my Polish complaining I've been doing on my stories. Are we moving back to California? I was going to keep it kind of a secret, but I think I feel so strongly about it that I started spilling the beans here and there and you guys picked up on them. So I'm going to be completely honest. During our previous moves, I told you guys that our move out of California was temporary. Daddy!
He's ready?
Babysitting duty. As I was saying, during our previous moves to Texas or to Miami, I told you guys this was a temporary move before we have to settle down and before Milo has to go to school and like we have to, you know, actually have like a regular routine if we ever will, because I'm a very not regular person. I don't like the regular life. I don't have 9 to 5 and I don't know where the life is going to take us, but before we settled down somewhere, we wanted to experience something else. We of course had an idea of opening a business in Texas, so that's why we initially moved there. Then we found out about the pregnancy. We found out that Texas was absolutely not a place for us, or for me especially. We decided to move to Miami, which I think is an amazing place, don't get me wrong. I have to be brutally honest, but we've tried a shitty place for us, which is Texas. For me, again, there's a lot of people that love it and I think it's great for some people. For me, it just was not it. And we've also tried a great place, which is Miami, which is definitely much more of my vibe, with like European culture and walkability and nice weather and beaches, which is definitely more what I enjoy. And I think it was absolutely necessary for us to do, to realize that there is no place like California. So for the past couple of years when we lived in California, I was always, you know, sitting on Trulia or Zillow and searching houses and see what we can get in Tennessee, what we can get in the Carolinas, what we can get in Texas, and so on and so forth. And I think it was necessary for us to try it out, to find out for ourselves, because otherwise I would always just kind of want to venture and see. And now I know that California has everything that I enjoy and I love, and regardless of all the problems that there are, because of course every state has its own problems, nothing beats it. I need to have mountains, I need to have national parks, I want Milo to grow up skiing, to go hiking, camping, going to the beach, and California has all of that with an amazing airport. And climate wise, I didn't know how much climate is important to me until we moved to Miami, where it's either way too hot or it's raining. I know it's going to get better, but you know, California, it's year round. It's not only a couple of months out of the year. So that was the long answer. The short answer is yes. We will be heading back to California. I can't tell you guys when exactly, because we have couple of plans along the way to try out some things and some cool plans that we're making. So we're not sure when yet we're going to settle down back there, but I think the end goal is going back to California. Are you planning on having a sibling for Milo someday? Randy?
No. Maybe. I don't know. I'm happy with just one for now.
We're so obsessed with him that like we can't imagine being obsessed with anybody else. So of course that might change. And I am an only child. Well, I have half siblings, but I grew up on my own. And then I had a cousin that's basically like my sister, so I always had somebody, but I was an only child. And then Randy has 5 siblings. So I think we have a completely different opinion on that. He doesn't know what it's like to be an only child, and I know that I wished I had an actual like sibling living with me. But also the lives that we're living, I don't think our lives are going to be very normal and regular regardless of what everybody says. I think we're still going to be kind of all over the place, like traveling and doing a lot of things. So I think Milo is going to get to experience the world in quite a different way than me and Randy did. So that one might keep him busy, but also I would love to have somebody that he can share his life with when he's older. And of course my family is in Poland and I don't have anybody with small kids, and then Randy's family is on the East Coast and his sister is in California, so we have one little cousin that Milo is going to be able to grow up with, but it just would be nice for him to have a sibling. So I don't know, the second he's a little bit bigger and he's no longer this small, I feel like I will want another one, because those little toes and fingers and nose and stuff are like the cutest thing on planet Earth to look at, and I don't want him to get any bigger than he is right now. So I think when he starts actually growing, I will be begging Randy for another one. But also having another child while having a child, like being pregnant with a toddler, sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. So we'll see where things go. We don't say yes and we don't say no. We're kind of open to either or situation. Next question is if I teach my baby Polish. Yes, that is the intention. You know, it actually is really funny because we talked to my mom yesterday and my mom is like, so who is gonna speak Polish to him? And I'm like, well, you mostly. And she's like, well, but I want to learn English, so I'll speak English to him. So we're in a pickle. It's much harder than I thought it's going to be. Of course, me and Randy speak only English at home. Whenever Randy leaves and me and Milo are home for like an hour or two and Randy goes to the gym or whatever, I like try to talk him through our like day or whatever we're doing in Polish, but it's kind of, I feel like a crazy person because I feel like I'm talking to myself. It's not like he understands, but, and I also don't know when you're supposed to actually start speaking the language so he learns. I feel like now it's obviously too soon, but like the sooner you start exposing him, I feel like it's the better. So yeah, if you have any tips or tricks, if you have a baby that's bilingual, of course I want Milo to speak Polish. I think it's very important, and I always, you know, felt sad for kids that have foreign parents and then they don't speak the language. So I don't want to be one of those, and I want to definitely teach him, but it is much harder than I thought it's going to be just because it is not a spoken language at our home. I don't think I talked about this one, but how long did it take us to get pregnant? And we, or maybe I did on another Q&A, but we did not really plan on getting pregnant. We've been married for 10 years, so we thought that it is kind of time to start thinking about it, because we of course had an amazing life of traveling and doing all of that, and it would continue, and I think there would never be a perfect time to start thinking about babies. So we just decided that whatever happens happens, and we just stopped preventing it in any way, if that makes sense. And it happened way sooner than we thought. I was definitely in a big shock when we found out that it is actually happening, because it took a very short time, probably like a month or so. It just happened, and I'm so grateful, because during the pregnancy and right now I met a lot of moms and a lot of pregnant girls that are struggling with fertility and going through IVF, and I have to say that there's just so many young women right now that are struggling with fertility and have to go through IVF to have a baby. It's actually mind-blowing. I never knew that it is such a big problem. I don't know what it's linked to, but I feel like we haven't heard of so many infertility problems in the past, and I don't know if it wasn't just talked about and that's why, or because truly there is something going on in the environment, the diet, I don't know, like maybe there's just something bigger going on that the girls are struggling. But I have to say I'm so grateful that it happened for us so naturally and so easy, and we didn't have to struggle to go through it. And if you do, my heart goes to you. Being the mom is, you know, the most amazing thing, and having the baby, so regardless of what you're hearing behind the door, it's still the best thing on planet Earth. So if you're going through it, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everything is going to go your way and it's going to happen for you fast. But for us, it's just kind of happened very fast and very naturally. I'm going to wrap up this Q&A with you guys. If you have more questions, we can do another one. So just to sum it up, everything is great. Of course, things are way different than they were before. They revolve around Milo. My schedule, my day, my basically day-to-day revolves around this little baby, but I could not be happier, and I don't mind at all. So I feel like it was a good personality check too, because as I told you guys, I used to be kind of selfish in my own ways, stuck in my own ways. Maybe not selfish, because I am very caring about other people, but stuck in my own ways. Like, I like things my way, and I think having a baby and realizing that, you know, things don't have to be your way always, because you have to kind of make sacrifices and changes because he rules the world, was a good personality check. So there's that. And again, motherhood is the best thing on planet Earth. The main star of the show is coming in hot. Coming in hot. I mean, come on, like, how could you not? Like, this is just the cutest little,
They'll never know how cute you are. No.
We are in our newborn bubble. we are so happy, so obsessed, and so in love that we didn't think it was possible. You know, I told Randy the other day I didn't know what love truly was up until now. It's really messed up, but it's a whole different level of love. And I don't mean to sound really woo-woo or whatever, but the love you have for your baby and for your child, I would give him my heart, my stomach, my kidney, whatever he needs, I would give him. For Randy, I would be questioning it. Just kidding.
I'm changing his diaper, so he's gonna be screaming.
Okay, love you guys. We're gonna spare you this one because that is the big one. Love you guys. I'm going to do another video of a day in my life. I was trying to do it today, but it didn't work out. But I will do one of those and do a video for you guys with the items that we bought and regret buying and the items that we absolutely love. Love you and see you in my next one.